You're rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots, and a sexy body full of tats.
The atmosphere at the Ricardo Tormo circuit in Valencia this morning seemed quieter than usual, but important activity was taking place behind closed doors. Yamaha test rider Augusto Fernandez is reportedly conducting secret testing of the Iwata manufacturer's latest V4 engine. Although there has been no official statement from Yamaha, a number of reliable sources say that this testing is part of Yamaha's long-term project to develop the V4 engine that has been the mainstay of rival manufacturers. Fernandez's presence on the track with the prototype marks a serious step by Yamaha in evaluating potential major changes to their engine configuration. The test was conducted without media presence and under tight security, showing how important this development is to the Blue Factory team's future in MotoGP. And here's the full story. Valencia, April 16, 2025. Behind the fences of a seemingly deserted Ricardo Tormo circuit today, an important event was taking place away from the media spotlight. Yamaha were quietly testing their latest V4 engine, with Augusto Fernandez as the lead test rider in a highly secretive closed session. Fernandez, who was recently announced as part of Yamaha's development project for the coming seasons, was seen coming out of the paddock wearing a black test jersey with no prominent logos, riding a dark-colored prototype bike that differs considerably from the M1 design that Yamaha is used to in MotoGP. The distinctive sound of the bike sparked strong speculation that it was a V4 configuration, something Yamaha has never used in modern MotoGP history, which has relied on inline-4 engines. According to an internal source who declined to be named, this test is part of Yamaha's early research phase in exploring the potential of the V4 engine as a long-term option. The move marks a major change in philosophy from the Iwata-based manufacturer, which has been known as the only factory team to consistently maintain an inline-4 configuration since the MotoGP era began. It's not about changing the bike next year, but looking ahead, 2026 or even later, said one Yamaha technician off the record. Do we want to understand the advantages and disadvantages of the V4 with our own data, not just from what is seen from other manufacturers? In recent seasons, Yamaha has often lagged behind rivals such as Ducati, KTM and Aprilia, who all use V4 engines with more aggressive acceleration and top speed characteristics. Criticism of the Yamaha bike's lack of competitiveness has mainly come from their own riders, including Fabio Quartararo, who has openly asked for improved performance several times. Interestingly, Augusto Fernandez's involvement in this project also raises a question mark. As a former Gas Tech 3 team rider, who previously used a V4 engine from KTM, Fernandez is considered to have the right technical reference to compare engine characteristics. His decision to join Yamaha as a test rider is considered strategic, not only in terms of experience, but also in providing a fresh perspective on the direction of technical development. Today's test session took place without official publicity and under heavy guard, including a ban on photography and video shooting from a distance. There has been no comment from Yamaha on the results of this test, but an internal technical meeting is scheduled in the next few days to evaluate the data collected. If it is true that Yamaha is preparing for a major transition to V4 engines, then this could be one of the most significant turning points in the team's history in the Premier class. For now, the public and Yamaha fans can only wait with hope and growing curiosity. On the other hand, under the overcast skies of the Ricardo Tormo circuit, an important and very private test was underway. Not an official practice, not a pre-season session, but a technical experiment that could change the course of Yamaha's history in MotoGP. Their test rider, Augusto Fernandez, was entrusted today with trying out something very different from the Japanese manufacturer's long-held engine philosophy, the V4 engine. Yes, V4. A word that has been foreign to Yamaha's DNA for over 2 decades, with only the inline-4 configuration at the heart of their YZR M1. But the pressures of the times and the continued lagging performance of rivals like Ducati and KTM seem to force Yamaha out of its comfort zone. And today, that first step was taken quietly, with no publicity, no cameras, and few people knowing. Augusto Fernandez, strategic choice. What's interesting is Yamaha's choice of who is trusted to ride the prototype of this revolutionary machine. It wasn't Cal Crutchlow, the main test rider who has worked with Yamaha for years. It was Augusto Fernandez, a talented young rider who previously rode for the Gas Tech 3 team and is familiar with the characteristics of KTM's V4 engine. Fernandez's appointment was not without reason. Yamaha wanted input from someone who knew exactly how the V4 engine worked on track, not just from data but from first-hand experience. Fernandez was spotted in the paddock this morning wearing a plain black jersey with no team logo, and the bike he was riding looked unfamiliar, no typical Yamaha branding, just a simple aerodynamic design with a solid black fairing and a more rough and dense engine sound, the hallmark of a V4. According to internal sources who did not want to be named, Yamaha has started designing the V4 prototype since the end of the 2023 season. But only this year are they ready to take it to the track for real-world testing. These tests are aimed at evaluating basic aspects of the machine, such as power distribution, chassis stability, and cooling efficiency. Changing philosophy. The switch from inline 4 to V4 was not a decision taken lightly. Yamaha is known for its smooth is fast philosophy, with a focus on corner agility and stability under braking. But in recent years, the power of the V4 engine, especially in corner exit acceleration and top speed on the straights, has become harder to ignore. Ducati proved it with their dominance, KTM continued to level up, and even Honda stayed true to the V4 configuration despite its struggles. Now, Yamaha seems to be saying, enough is enough. It's not that we're changing the concept of the bike right away, said a Yamaha technician who declined to make an official statement. But we can't close our eyes forever. We need data. We need options. Need a plan B. 2026 project? The machine tested today will not necessarily be used directly next season. There's speculation that it's part of a medium-term project, perhaps for 2026, or as the basis of a new bike they'll use once MotoGP technical regulations undergo major changes. But one thing is for sure, Yamaha is preparing for the future. And that future appears to be V-shaped. There has been no official confirmation from Yamaha about the results of today's test. But some observers believe that this is the start of a further phase of testing that will take place throughout the season, at various European circuits with different track conditions. Yamaha has finally made a big breakthrough. After years of sticking with the inline-4 engine philosophy that has been deeply embedded in their DNA, they are now officially preparing and testing a V4 engine, something that has so far only been speculation and hopes of their fans. And what's even more surprising, this V4 engine will be tested privately at the Valencia circuit, without much public attention. This is not just an ordinary test. This is a turning point. It could be Yamaha's secret weapon to rise and reclaim its glory in MotoGP. Why is this V4 engine in the spotlight? Yamaha has been known as the only major manufacturer in MotoGP that still sticks with the inline-4 engine. Although this configuration offers agility and stability in corners, Yamaha has recently struggled to catch up with the top speed of its rivals such as Ducati, KTM, and Aprilia, all of which use V4 engines. Fabio Quartararo, the 2021 world champion and Yamaha's current main star, has repeatedly voiced his disappointment with the performance of the YZR M1 motorbike. He was frustrated that he had to fight tooth and nail just to stay in the top 10, let alone get on the podium. The power of the V4 engine on his rivals really made a difference, especially when exiting corners and on the straights. And now for the first time, Yamaha has answered that need. They have not only listened to Quartararo's complaints, but have also really started to move in a direction that has been considered taboo for them. Private test in Valencia, big signal for 2025? Yamaha's V4 engine was held for a private test in Valencia, outside the official schedule. This means that Yamaha wants to test this concept seriously, but still on a limited radar. Not wanting to be reckless, but also not wanting to be left too far behind. There are no official details yet about who will test the engine, whether Fabio Quartararo himself or their mainstay test rider, Cal Crutchlow. But the presence of this bike itself is big news. Does this mean that the V4 engine will be used immediately in the 2025 season? Not necessarily. But if the test results show great potential, it is likely that development will be accelerated. What impact will it have on Fabio Quartararo? For Fabio, this could be a defining moment for his career at Yamaha. His contract, his performance, and even his future in MotoGP are heavily influenced by one thing: a competitive bike. If this V4 engine is able to overcome the shortcomings that have haunted Yamaha, namely acceleration, speed on the straights, and competitiveness when dueling with Ducati, then Quartararo could return to his best form. In fact, it is not impossible that we will see a more brutal, aggressive, and confident version of Giel Diablo on the track. Just imagine Quartararo's flexible and precise racing style, combined with the monster power of the V4 engine. The result? Perhaps one of the deadliest combinations on the MotoGP grid. Is this enough to turn things around? The engine alone is not enough. In addition to power, Yamaha also needs to improve their aerodynamics, electronics, and tire management. However, this V4 engine could be a big foundation that makes all other elements develop. And most importantly, it is a signal that Yamaha is no longer stubborn, no longer wants to win only on their own terms. They are now willing to change, adapt, and perhaps totally transform in order to become champions again. Conclusion: Yamaha has finally revealed their secret weapon. The long mythical V4 engine is now becoming a reality. The Valencia test could be the beginning of a major revolution in the Japanese factory team. And for Fabio Quartararo, this is a breath of fresh air. Maybe he will finally get a bike that suits his talent and courage. A bike that can make him go crazy again. A bike that can make him a world champion again. Let's wait for the test results. But one thing is for sure, MotoGP 2025 will never be the same again.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease, bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me. Cause she got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase, Casamigos to the